I'm a little bit worried because Arsenal might actually be cooking this summer window. Just a few days ago, I was making jokes that Arteta will probably spend the budget on another centre back, another midfielder, another left back, and not bring in the much needed striker and winger. But since you brought Andrea Berta in, a man that knows what he's doing, he's probably not going to let Arteta bring in a load of more defenders when it's so obvious you need a striker and it's so obvious you need a winger and you need to revamp the attack. And now you've got Zubimendi agreed. That's your first deal agreed. There's reports that Gyokeres is agreed, which is potentially 2 deals agreed already before the window opens, although those reports should be taken with a pinch of salt. And you're moving for Rodrygo. And I'm just going to say, Gyokeres, Rodrygo, Saka. Now that is a good front three. That is an unbelievable front three. And I'm seeing a lot of tacticos turn their nose up at Gyokeres to Arsenal. I'm just thinking, if Havertz can get 20 goals as your number 9, whether Gyokeres has the best hold up or not, Gyokeres could probably get 30 plus goals for Arsenal. You know, a lot of people talking about Sesko and Nico Williams, but Rodrygo and Gyokeres are a lot better than Sesko and Nico Williams. Like, I like Sesko and Nico Williams, but I think they're a little bit overrated. And, you know, I was talking to someone the other day and they said to me that, you know, Andrea Berta wants like a Rodrygo, wants a Gyokeres, wants to get Arsenal's attack fixed. Whereas Arteta is very much like, well, I like Højsund, I like Joan Garcia, we could do with another left back with so-and-so leaving. Obviously wanted Zubimendi because Jorginho's leaving. And it's like, while those signings are good, Arsenal have the best defence in the league. Arsenal have an all-right midfield. What Arsenal need is a good attack. And if Arsenal bring in Gyokeres and if Arsenal bring in Rodrygo, Arsenal are serious. And that worries me because I love to banter Arsenal. As much as I dislike Liverpool, and Liverpool are the enemy as a Man United fan, I think my favourite club to banter is Arsenal. But Zubimendi, now Gyokeres apparently agreed, maybe you're going for Rodrygo. It would worry me. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the Arsenal news, everything you need to know about Zubimendi, Gyokeres, Rodrygo, why they would be good signings for Arsenal, how they fit in, how that front line would work with Saka, a little bit more updates on Andrea Berta's plans, and why is Andrea Berta's plans genius? I mean, if his plan is Gyokeres and Rodrygo, it means he's bringing in proper players, because Sesko's a good player, don't get me wrong, but Gyokeres is a lot better player for Arsenal. You're not going to be able to get Isak. Rodrygo's a better player than Nico Williams. Nico Williams has similarities to Garnacho, where sometimes he's really good, sometimes you watch him and he stinks it up. You know, he's a little inconsistent, he's a little raw. I feel like Andrea Berta is ready to get ready-made good attackers in now. And that worries me because Arsenal have the best defence, they have an unbelievable midfield, but your attack has let you down this season. If you get good attackers in... Anyway, Zubimendi is essentially a done deal. We spoke about that the other day. Arsenal will now look to sign a striker and a winger as their next 2 signings, it's believed. I believe that's what Andrea Berta wants to do, although knowing Arteta, he'll probably want to sign another centre-back and another left-back for you guys. But there's a lot of reports about Gyokeres and Rodrygo being in the works. So first of all, if you weren't aware, Zubimendi, here we go, from Romano, agreed, boom, 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 boom. He's basically an Arsenal player. It's now being reported exclusive, Arsenal and Sporting already have an agreement for Victor Gyokeres. Now this has come from Pedro Almeida, a couple of aggregator accounts have got on it. I don't know how reliable this guy is. I don't know if he's someone that's just talking shite for clicks. I don't know if he's got some information. I don't know if he's jumping the gun. But there is a feeling that Gyokeres in Arsenal, that deal is going to happen. I don't know if he's jumping the gun early, but there's reports coming out of an agreement, of Arsenal already agreeing with Victor Gyokeres, potentially. There was reports saying that Arsenal submitted their first offer worth 75 million euros, which is about the 60 million price tag, and already agreed personal terms. And if this is true, then it's very likely that Sporting would agree to that. I think he's got a 60 million clause, which Arsenal apparently are willing to trigger. So there's reports that Arsenal already have an agreement with Victor Gyokeres, and some reports are saying they have an agreement with Sporting. If I'm going to be honest, my guess would be, until David Ornstein and Romano confirm it, that the news that Arsenal and Sporting have an agreement is probably BS. This is BS unless it gets confirmed in the next couple of hours, I think, because I think if they do, it will come out in the next hour or 2. Maybe they will have an agreement in 2 weeks, but if they have an agreement in 2 weeks, this doesn't mean that this guy was right. Do you know what I mean? So I'd say unless there's something in the next few hours, it's probably BS, but I do believe that there's probably a verbal agreement between the player and the club. I do believe that Arsenal know how much Sporting want and maybe are willing to pay that. I do believe some of that. And I will get into what the reliable sources have said in regards to Gyokeres. The Telegraph, Jason Burt, who is reliable, did say that Andrea Berta favours a move for Gyokeres, prefers him to Sesko. As things stand, it looks like Gyokeres' most likely destination is Arsenal. But on top of the Gyokeres news and this report that, Gyokeres is potentially a done deal, which I'm going to assume they're jumping the gun. Unless Romano Ornstein says it, I wouldn't believe it's a done deal, by the way, guys. But there's also reports that Arsenal are ready to move for Rodrygo. And again, these are quite credible sources. I don't know who the third source is, but the first two are credible sources. And they said, the club showing the strongest interest in Rodrygo goes this summer is Arsenal. It was also said that Arsenal view Rodrygo as a potential market opportunity and are in ongoing discussions regarding the possibility of signing him this summer, and that Arsenal will be at the table for Rodrygo. Now, Manchester City are going to be there. Liverpool are sure going to be there. Liverpool looked at Kvaratskhelia and Gordon. Despite them having good wingers, they will be there. But Arsenal look to be the sort of reported favourite right now for Rodrygo. I think he's going to go to the Premier League if he leaves Real Madrid. It's the best place to go. And Real Madrid have already told him he can go. Apparently he's ready to leave Real Madrid, this and that. It looks like he's likely to leave Real Madrid. And, that would be an unbelievable signing. Because some people might say you've got Saka, you need a left winger. But if you watch Rodrygo and you watched him when he played on the left wing this season, he was a lot better than right now. Rodrygo's been pretty poor this season on the right, but he had a stint mid-season on the left and he looked at his best. I think he's better on the left. So what do we know on Arsenal's transfer plans before I talk about why Saka, Rodrygo and Gyokeres? To be honest, as a front three is insane. I will be jealous. I will be worried. It's not fair. But Zubimendi, here we go. It's basically confirmed. Still waiting for a here we go for Gyokeres, despite reports saying it's agreed. Would not be shocked if the media's jumped the gun a bit there. I'm not super familiar with the source, but I've seen a lot of people talking about it. There's now reports that Berta wants to move for Rodrygo, and we're talking if Arsenal want to fix their attack, Rodrygo, Gyokeres, Saka. They've agreed a deal for Zubimendi. They've reportedly agreed a deal for Gyokeres, which could be Arsenal's next two signings already agreed before the transfer window even opens, which is a joke. They've already agreed one, but it could be two, which is a joke. Oh, is my connection okay? I feel like my connection's just cut out. So I apologise if the connection isn't good. I don't know where I was because my connection just dropped out. But I did a video talking about Zubimendi a couple of days ago. Really good addition. Obviously said it's a great addition, but your focus is attack and wings. There's now reports that you've agreed a deal for Gyokeres. Again, I think those reports probably not true unless it gets confirmed by Ornstein and Romano in the next hours. But it looks like you are favourites for Gyokeres. It looks like Gyokeres is open for the move. It looks like you're going to go for Gyokeres. And now it's been reported you have a serious interest in Rodrygo. And, as I said before on Arsenal, as I've said many times in this video, Arsenal, they fixed their attack. They would have won a lot more games this season. You've been the best team in the first and second phase this season, but in the third phase, you've not taken chances. And I'll see all these Arsenal fans post field tilts and deserve to win meters. But at the end of the day, you don't deserve to win if you can't put the ball in the back of the net against a low block in 90 minutes. All the deserve to win meters, all the field tilts, get the right attackers in. And then, when you deserve to win, you might actually win. When your field tilts up, you might actually win. Do you know what I mean? So let's talk about why Rodrygo and Gyokeres are good signings and why they're Arsenal's missing piece. So I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans doubt Gyokeres, saying they don't want Gyokeres, turning their nose up at Gyokeres. All I'm saying is you've got Kai Havertz up front, and all these Arsenal fans turned their nose up at Kai Havertz up front just for these Arsenal fans to like Kai Havertz up front and would rather have him up front than Gyokeres. All I'm going to say is if Kai Havertz can play up front for Arsenal and score 20 goals, then Victor Gyokeres, who scored 100 goals in the last 2 seasons, will go up to Arsenal, and I guarantee you he will score more goals than Kai Havertz. Some Arsenal fans I spoke to would rather have Kai Havertz number 9 next season. I think Victor Gyokeres is a better number 9 than Kai Havertz, if I'm being totally honest. So I don't understand that, but I've seen a few Arsenal fans turn their nose up at him. Oh, Isak's perfect. Yeah, Isak is better. Isak is amazing, but Isak is not coming to Arsenal. Newcastle will not sell him unless you want to pay 200 million or something. Rodrygo doesn't get the credit he deserves. Again, dropped off second half of the season, hasn't been as good, which is why Madrid are willing to sell him. But he's very smart, he's clinical, he can play across the front line. He's a versatile player. There's no doubt in my mind that he will improve Arsenal. He's better than Nico Williams as well, in my opinion. I think Nico Williams, good, exciting, direct player, but inconsistent. Rodrygo brings a bit of pace, a bit of transition threat. Arsenal actually numbers for transition goals is the lowest in the Premier League, or it's the top 5 lowest in the Premier League. You need someone that's better in transition. He can be Saka backup. If something happens to Saka, he can play on the left with Saka on the right and Gyokeres in the middle. And suddenly you've got a front three that is threatening in transition. You've got a front three that are all capable of scoring goals. And even if you're not playing well, you could win a game. One thing about Arsenal, and I saw Arsenal fans talking about this, is they say that there's other teams that don't play well and can win games, and there's games where Arsenal play well and they don't win. And a lot of that just comes down to that individual quality in the final third. And they're the type of players where you could play badly and still win a game because of their quality. Like, that is the kind of nightmare front three. You know, if you want to win trophies, because winning trophies isn't about having the best field tilt, having the deserve to win a meter, you know, having the best team in the first and second phase, having the best defense. If you want to win trophies, sometimes trophies come down to moments. You know, it's not about this and that and the tactics and the coaching. It's about what can you produce in the moment. Look at how many trophies Real Madrid have won because they have those galactical players like a Jude Bellingham winner and a Mbappe winner. You know what I mean? And, you know, bringing in top forwards that score goals will help you win trophies, because you've not won a trophy in a while and you need to win trophies. Because I think if you bring in a few signings and attack next season and Arteta doesn't win a trophy, he could go, because you've been at your best in a while, but you haven't won those trophies. And to win those trophies, Victor Gyokeres and Rodrygo could be those guys. So let's talk about Victor Gyokeres and why I think he's a good signing for Arsenal, despite a lot of Arsenal fans not wanting him that I've seen online. Let me know, Arsenal fans down below, do you want Victor Gyokeres? And if you don't, why? He's not perfect. His hold-up play could improve. There's elements of Victor Gyokeres' game that could definitely improve, and there's definitely areas of concern around. But a lot of people said the same about Erling Haaland. And look at the goals Erling Haaland bangs and coming to Manchester City. He might not improve the all-round game. He might not do this. He might not drop deep like Harry Kane and facilitate play. But look at the goals he scored. And the goals Haaland scored is the reason Manchester City won the treble. Gyokeres is powerful, he's fast, he's direct, he can run in behind, he can bulldoze through, he can be a threat in transition. Arsenal lack that. He's not flashy, but he's ruthless. And Arsenal, what they're not, is ruthless. You need to be more ruthless. You'll create chance after chance after chance. Oh, we had 5 XG versus PSG to their 3. We deserve to win. You couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. You want to put the ball back in the net once over 2 legs. You need ruthless, and that is Gyokeres. If Havertz can bag 20 goals as a striker, if Marino's getting good goals as a striker despite being a midfielder, imagine what Gyokeres could do with some service, even if he's not the best stylistic fit. You put him up top for Arsenal. If he's got 52 goals in 50 games this season, he's easily getting 20 goals for Arsenal next season. He also has a good injury record. And if you have a striker that can get 20 goals for you next season, a lot of the draws you've got this season would turn into wins. And then you could be actually giving Liverpool a bit of challenge in the title race. Because I'm seeing that you want Huijsen, and I'm seeing that you want Garcia, and I'm seeing that you want another left back. Cool. But if you want to catch Manchester City, you're going to bring in Reinders and Wirtz. If you want to catch Liverpool that have won the league, they're going to bring in loads of good players. Then you need to go and you need to make sure that you sign some players at the top of their game now. Look, Sesko, good player, no doubt in my mind, but a little bit overrated, a little bit overpriced. I think Gyokeres is better. I'm going to be honest with you, and that's if you want to catch City and if you want to catch Liverpool, that's what you're going to do. And you're above City this season, but they're going to bring in Wirtz, they're going to bring in Reinders, they're going to have Rodri back. You cannot rule out City next season. But I think Gyokeres would be a good signing for Arsenal because, again, he brings pace and aggression up top, something that Arsenal have lacked on counters all year. Arsenal have lacked on the counter-attack all year. He's clinical. Arsenal have dropped points this season, as I said, from missing chances. The guy, if you look at his goals this season, a lot of them, he's made something out of nothing. Strong mentality. He presses hard. He runs all day. He's physically fine. Maybe not the most polished and build up, but neither is Sesko. You know, unless you want Harry Kane or Isak to drop deep, there's no, do you know what I mean? And you're not going to get them. He's reliable. He's going to be reliable. He's going to score goals. I do have questions around Rice, Zubimendi, Odegaard. Would that be the best dynamics behind Gyokeres? Maybe not. Maybe a Morgan Rogers would be quite good behind Gyokeres, or a Xavi Simons. But you can only solve one problem at a time. And I think the problem you need to solve is making sure you bring in 2 quality attackers that can score goals this summer. As I said with Rodri, in my opinion, Rodrygo is underrated. I think he plays better off the left, but he's played mostly on the right because Mbappe and Vinicius prefer the left. He's good in tight spaces, good first touch, able to combine with players, very technically good, got that little bit pace to go in behind, can dribble, can finish better than Martinelli. Doesn't get the credit when he's good because Mbappe and Vinicius, but he's the focal point. You know, the moment he'll be the focal point instead of the sideshow at Arsenal, I think he would level up. I think he's someone where if he became the main man, you'd see how good he is. I think he's better than Martinelli. Definitely. I think he's smart. I think he's unpredictable. I think he can be direct, and I think Arsenal need direct on the wing. He can rotate with Saka. The one question is, I think if Arsenal get an overlapping left back, it would work better. You know, having two centre backs as full backs and Ben White and Calafiori, I'm not 100% sure. Timber, you know, if you've got a traditional left back like Gyokeres that overlaps, it would probably bring the best out of him. But I think, again, it would be a good player. You could even play him second striker if you wanted. So just rounding up the Arsenal news, it was said right now as well by Graham Bailey that Berta's main focus is securing a number 9, and Gyokeres and Saka are the answers. They're also looking to renew the contract of Saliba, Saka and Gabriel. There is also reports from Fabrizio Romano that Arsenal, as well as Chelsea and Liverpool, are ready to trigger Dean Huijsen's 50 million release clause. So despite you having a million centre-backs, I know Dean Huijsen is great. You look to be in for Dean Huijsen. Maybe there's something in Saliba to Real Madrid. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, Arsenal fans. Thank you for watching. Bye.